Premier. The honourable member for Elmwood-Transcona.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You know, the Canadian middle class was built on the union movement. And you can see the rise of the Canadian middle class rise with union density. And to the extent that we've seen a decline of union density, we've also seen a decline of the middle class. And the right to strike is fundamental to the union movement. If workers don't have the right to withhold their labor, they don't have leverage in bargaining. It's why unions have been calling for anti-scab legislation for so long, and it's why they needed it not just in the case of lockouts, which was what the Liberals started after decades talking about, but they also needed it in the case of strikes. So I'm very pleased today to see legislation that bans replacement workers both in the context of lockouts but also in the context of strikes, because that's how you fight for powerful paychecks for Canadians. I am concerned about an 18-month coming into force after Royal Assent, however. We know that sometimes government officials ask for a long time to implement things, but when pressed, can do it much faster. And indeed, when it came to Quebec and BC, we saw a relatively swift implementation of their anti-scab laws. Will the minister go back to his department and press upon them to ensure that we can put this law into force much faster than 18 months after Royal Assent?
The honourable minister.
I appreciate the question from the honourable member, and let me take the opportunity to thank him for his professionalism and for the great thought that he brought to the negotiations that brought this piece of legislation to bear. I can say that I personally learned a great deal from the honourable member and from his experiences in the labour movement, and they informed this legislation. And I think he knows too that the great experience and the fortitude and the talent of not only the CIRB but also our federal mediators. I do listen to them when they do give me a number, and when they do when they do back it up with their experience and with their talent and with their record, with a 96% success record. I listen to them. If we could get it done sooner, I would happily do so. But I will not do that until I am sure and confident that these federal mediators and that the CIRB themselves are confident and sure. The stability and certainty of our supply chains is too important, and we have to acknowledge just how big a deal this really is. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments.